Hey fans, welcome back again to another video. Thank you for tuning into this video. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where and whenever you're watching my video from. I'm a registered nurse midwife, a mom, and a lover of God. Please do well to subscribe to this channel. In today's video, we are going to be talking about so many myths about breastfeeding. One of the myths about breastfeeding is that you cannot get pregnant while breastfeeding. Some people believe that you cannot get pregnant as long as you're breastfeeding. Forget about pregnancy. Please, you need to hear this. Now, during breastfeeding, the truth about this myth is that during breastfeeding, especially exclusive breastfeeding, when you breastfeed for most times the first 6 months of breastfeeding, some people may not see their period, may not ovulate during breastfeeding. But this is not a foolproof, because you can ovulate before you even see your period while breastfeeding, and you can get pregnant. If you play your games wrongly, you can get pregnant. That's why most times, if you want to space your child, we advise that after giving birth, 6 weeks after giving birth, you're free to do any family planning of your choice. You're free. Some people might see that might ovulate before even their period comes. In fact, certainly ovulation will come before your period. During breastfeeding, if you're exclusively breastfeeding, note that because your prolactin levels are high, they are up there, so it will inhibit the hormone that causes ovulation or that induces ovulation. Once prolactin levels are high, FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, and luteinizing hormone, they are low, they drop. But if the amount of prolactin level drops, you see FSH and LH, you'll be like, okay, let's start our job. Let the circle begin, let the party begin, and the person might see the ovulation. They might ovulate. And because probably the woman has not seen her period while breastfeeding, she plays her game anytime she likes, she feels she's free, and probably that period she's playing her game, she might be in her fertile period, or like ovulation has started. The fact that you've not seen your menses doesn't mean that ovulation has not started. During the menstrual cycle, I'm going to explain or elaborate more on it when I talk about that video. So you can see that this is just a myth that you don't get pregnant. Some people might even get pregnant 3 months, 2 months after giving birth. Everybody's body is not the same. So Ekaite might get pregnant, or let's say Ekaite might see her period or her cycle might begin 2 months after giving birth, 3 months after giving birth, and Linda will start seeing her own until the child stops sucking. Some even their cycle starts again until before it will start, that child will stop sucking. They have weaned their child successfully before they even see their period. So you see that everybody's body is not the same. So don't compare yourself with another person. Say, it's just as long as you're breastfeeding, please get it right. So this is one of the myths about breastfeeding, and I believe I have debunked that myth. The second myth about breastfeeding is that you cannot produce enough milk when you have a small breast, or because your breast size is tiny or little or small, you cannot produce enough milk. You will not have enough milk for your child. No, it's not so. The truth is that the size of the breast does not really determine how well breast milk is produced. Milk supply is not determined by the breast size, it's determined by hormones and how often and effectively milk is released from the breast. I've talked about this so many times in my previous videos about breastfeeding, constant production of milk, constant removal of milk. When the baby sucks often, more milk is produced. How often do you breastfeed? How effective do you breastfeed through your breastfeeding techniques? Is baby latching well? Is baby sucking well? These are the things that will affect your breastfeeding or your breast milk production, not the size of the breast, please. And most cases, you even see those with smaller size of the breast producing milk or lactating well more than people with big size of breast. So you see, this is the second myth about breastfeeding. The third myth about breastfeeding is that you should stop breastfeeding when you are sick. There are cases where you don't breastfeed when you are sick, not generally when you're not fine, when you're not well or sick, you don't breastfeed, no. That you're sick doesn't mean that you stop breastfeeding. Even to the parts of drugs, some will say as long as you're taking any drugs that is not multivitamins or supplements, you are not supposed to breastfeed. If you have, I've heard so many things about this breastfeeding stuff. Some will say, if you have malaria, try and treat, so your baby will not get malaria. As a baby is treating malaria, you treat so that you don't infect. Malaria does not, you can't transfer malaria now through breastfeeding. You are digressing, but let me just debunk that fact. You know what causes malaria? The bites of female anopheles mosquito. That's what causes malaria. Not passing, you can't pass malaria to a child during breastfeeding. No. If anybody's telling you that, even if you want to say yes to it, you know the truth already. And if you don't know, you know now. So when you're sick, the reason why people have this belief that when you're sick, you're not supposed to breastfeed, it's not good to breastfeed. Now, when someone is sick, most times they become irritable. And when someone is sick, it kind of affects with your emotions. Yes, when you're sick, because of that irritability, you might be angry, you might not just be interested, your appetite will change, even your interest in so many things will change. So it will affect your mood, and it might even affect breast milk supply, your milk supply at that moment, because remember, your emotion affects your breastfeeding. So that period when you're sick or you're ill or you're not fine, you'll say don't breastfeed. No. So some will say don't breastfeed, that you not pass. There are illness that is being passed or that passes through the breast milk. Not all illness. I'll make a separate video on it. Not all illness, please. You can still breastfeed while you're ill, because your breast milk alone contains antibodies. You're passing it to that child, and it helps to protect them during breastfeeding. So you see, it's a bonus. So that's that. For that, the fourth myth about breastfeeding is that formula is just as good as your breast milk. This is not true. Now I know that formula can be a safe alternative for breast milk when needed or when necessary, but it cannot be compared to breast milk, because breast milk contains living antibodies, enzymes, hormones that is tailored to your baby's health. So breast milk formula cannot, they don't have these things, they cannot replicate these things. So formula cannot be as good as breast milk. Breast milk is natural. It is natural. It's just like saying you want to compare human beings and robots. It's not possible. Anything that is natural, no matter how you try to get a replica of it still won't be that exact thing. No matter how you try, it cannot be like natural. So breast milk. You can't compare it. You can't equate breast milk to formulas. The fifth myth about breastfeeding is that you need a perfect diet to be able to breastfeed. This is not true. Now, your body prioritizes your baby's health and well-being, and it makes or produce high quality milk to support your baby's health. Not It's not as if you need a perfect diet to be able to lactate well or breastfeed or have the best milk. No. Although you need those good meal or good diet, you need a good diet for your own well-being. It's not as if it's a must that you must have a perfect diet. Now, come to think of it, those people that cannot really afford taking good meals, taking adequate diets, but they still breastfeed, they still produce milk. Now, if you take the breast milk of someone who is poor and someone who is rich, or let me put it as, if you take the breast milk of someone who doesn't eat a perfect diet and someone who eats a perfect diet, if you take it to the laboratory, the exact content or the exact nutrients the breast milk of someone who doesn't take an adequate diet, a good meal, will be, that is the same content or nutrients you will get in someone who takes an adequate diet. You see, breast milk is breast milk. There is nothing you take, or it just take enough. If as long as you're eating at all and you're taking water, enough fluid, you're producing the breast milk. Someone who is eating adequate diet will not have a better milk or have additional nutrients attached to it, attached or contained in the breast milk more than someone who doesn't eat adequate diet. So you see, it doesn't really affect your milk quality or production. That's for that. Now, we have come to the end of this video. I believe with these 5 myths I've been able to debunk about breastfeeding. You can be rest assured that so many things that we believe out there or we feel it's the right thing is not the right thing. Thank you so much for watching my video up until this point. I appreciate. Please do well to like, subscribe, comment. Please, I want to see your comments. I want to see your comments in the comment section, and share my videos to your friends and your well-wishers. My videos might be beneficial to them. See you in my next video. Bye.